Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you kindly for stopping by. Let me start with some big macro thoughts. Holger tweeted chart of doom. China's official factory gauge shrinks to lowest in 3 years. And really this is the canary in the coal mine, signaling to us global economic weakness as well, I suspect. I wrote about this severally, and the last article I wrote was on the 31st of August, China's volatility causing influenza across Africa. And, obviously the skew is towards the monoline commodity producers. It's not too difficult to work out who those are. And then Holger again, Chinese stocks extend rout as factory data adds to economy's woes. And he's put up a chart of the Shanghai Composite, which, as I said in that article over the weekend, has become a sort of a ritual to the start of the day. What on earth's happening there? Home thoughts. I'm still enjoying Herman Melville's Moby Dick tremendously. I've had it for years, never read it. Well, I've read bits of it, and it's outstanding. It was while gliding through these latter waters that one serene and moonlit night, when all the waves rolled by like scrolls of silver, and by their soft suffusing seethings made what seemed a silvery silence, not a solitude. On such a silent night, a silvery jet was seen, far in advance of the white bubbles at the bow. Lit up by the moon, it looked celestial, seemed some plumed and glittering god uprising from the sea. And then two more. Human madness is oftentimes a cunning and most feline thing. When you think it fled, it may have but become transfigured into some still subtler form. And then see how elastic our prejudices grow when once love comes to bend them. I like this photograph from The Guardian. The food is ready, preparation of the meal for 1 million people, Nottingham Gate of Carnival. Political reflections, M.K. Badrakuma writing about a somber run-up to Xi Jinping's US state visit. Sunnylands is close to the Pacific Ocean, and China is just on the other side of the ocean. These were President Xi Jinping's words when President Obama warmly greeted him at the Rancho Mirage in California on June the 7th, 2013. He said he was meeting Obama to map out a blueprint for the development of China-US relations and conduct cooperation across the Pacific Ocean. I think the US is turning up the dial on China, and big time. Some of this is, I agree with. Washington's financial currency war on China. Global research, the Chinese are in the process of displacing the monopoly of the US dollar. This article says they are dropping their US Treasury bonds, stockpiling gold reserves, and opening regional distribution banks for their own national currency. The US has been cognizant of the moves to establish a rival financial order. Policymakers in the Washington Beltway, the Pentagon, and Wall Street all watched the dual summits of the BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization in UFA with concern. Up to that point, they'd been waging an information, propaganda, energy, financial market, currency war, and general economic war against the Russian Federation. Post-UFA, they extended the financial and economic war to China. Using speculation as a psychological weapon in market manipulation, the US launched a financial strike against the Chinese. And I think, I tweeted, because at one point the pivoted to Kiev and Vladimir, then the geopolitical grandmaster Vladimir Putin did not see the oil, financial, cyber, and all-round 21st warfare 21st century warfare specialist POTUS coming. I don't think Xi Jinping did either. Put up a photograph of Barack Obama and Xi Jinping greeting children during the state arrival welcome ceremony in China in November 2014. Russia, apparently, according to Ynet News, has begun its military intervention in Syria, deploying an aerial contingent to a permanent Syrian base. Russian fighter pilots will begin arriving in Syria in the coming days and will fly their Russian Air Force fighter jets and attack helicopters against ISIS and rebel-aligned targets within the failing state. And I concluded by saying Putin has proved surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, dogged in his support for Bashar. I like this tweet, this photograph, August 25. His Majesty King Abdullah II meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro says Colombia is plotting his assassination. He said this during a visit to Vietnam, but the conspiracy has the consent of Colombia's government. Let me put up a photograph that Maduro tweeted from that Vietnam visit. And I spoke about this before when I said the end is nigh, and notwithstanding this huge counter-trend bounce we've had in oil, which I'm going to come back to. But I still think the end is nigh for crude oil and oil producers from Caracas to Luanda, from Riyadh to Abuja. And I think oil producers are becoming increasingly paranoid, which is, funnily enough, the headline of the Mail and Guardian article about President Dos Santos in Angola. Paranoid Dos Santos government jails dissenters. And I was previously saying that the revolution is only just beginning, and therefore you can understand the paranoia. Kapuscinski said, if the crowd disperses, goes home, does not reassemble, we say the revolution is over. Well, it hasn't gotten going yet. UNEP tweeted climate negotiators urged to pick up the pace ahead of the fast approaching COP21. I like the photograph. Doug Mills tweeted from Anchorage, Denali, formerly known as Mount McKinley, seen from Air Force One as POTUS arrives in Anchorage, Alaska. And I like this quote, which apparently is Mikhail Khodorov. Those who clash with the system have no rights whatsoever. Even though rights are enshrined in law, they are not defended in court, because the courts are either afraid of the system or form a part of it. Holger again, Dow shed 6.6% in August, worst month since May 2010. Bloomberg is reporting how Asian stocks dropped with European futures and that the Chinese slump is boosting the euro. The trend toward deceleration has become clear in China, said Masaki Yamaguchi. And that's very clear. US oil retreated 3.1% after a 3-day surge. Yen strengthening, euro strengthening. Shanghai Composite fell 2%. And I agree with this. In the event of sustained yuan and equity market weakness, the risk proxies and currencies most exposed to a weaker yuan, like commodity producers and export competitors, are most vulnerable. The safe havens will outperform, like the yen. Euros popped over 113, 113.21. Japanese yen 120.10, Swissy 0.9612, the pound 153.80. The Australian dollar is at 0.7113, Indian rupee 66.295, South Korean won, where we had some very poor export numbers, 1173.26, Real 362.15, my target of 4 gets ever closer, Egyptian pound 783.05, and the rand 13.2456. Let me put up a 3-month chart of the dollar index. Loss on ground in August. Euro dollar back over 113, and it's as if the euro is the new gold. Mark Barton tweeted, the new haven, every major currency has dropped versus the euro in August. Commodity markets, gold is bouncing, I think, here at 1143. I still think 1150 area caps it. OPEC, oil's 3 big days wipe out a month of losses. OPEC signaled it might cut production in the future, and the US lowered output estimates, propelling oil back into a bull market less than a week after hitting a 6-year low. Prices surged 8.8% on Monday in New York, capping the biggest 3-day gain in 25 years. It's not going to last, this counter-trend bear market rally, in my view. Eric Hunsader, most active futures today, oil complex stands out. CME crude, this is Eric again, set a new record trades per day. Look at the volume spike. Citi recommends, this is Holger, to sell the rally in oil as it's based on sentiment, not reality. And I agree with that. And let me put up a 1-month crude oil chart. You can see what we've been talking about. Brazil, 1-year real chart going up. I'm looking, my target remains 4. I heard this quote on Kamal Santamaria's accounting the cost from EcoBank's SCN. Africa needs to execute. Could not be more wrong. The Wall Street Journal blogs interviewing Adesina, who is the new president of the African Development Bank. He says, my number 1 priority will be to power Africa and to light up Africa. Sarah Kagingo tweeted, President Museveni joins Buganda members of parliament in a traditional dance. I liked the photograph. Starbucks is making Africa's biggest coffee exporter even richer. Ugandan coffee sold as single origin beans by Starbucks will boost earnings for Africa's biggest exporter of the crop. Coffee growers may as much as double their prices because of the high quality demanded by the world's biggest coffee chain. NASPA's CEO defies China's slump to leapfrog Netflix in Africa. This is a $55 billion media company, gets almost all of its value from a single Chinese investment. Yet he's more concerned about attracting Africans to NASPA's new video-on-demand service than about China's economic downturn. In 2001, NASPA's put $32 million into the then obscure web company Tencent Holdings Limited. Today its stake is worth more than $50 billion. Of course, they also own DSTV. Providing data cheaply is a challenge. What people truly need for many reasons is affordable, quality, high speed. South African All Share barely budged yesterday. It remains plus 0.405% this year. Dollar Rand, let me put up a 3-month chart. You can still see that enormous spike above 14 in this chart. Egyptian Pound, 783.05. Egyptian EGX 30 ranked 2.79% higher. It's plus 10.64% since the 24th of August, but it's still down 18.75%. Nigeria All Share spiked 2.96% higher yesterday. The oil price probably helped. Narrowed its loss for the year to 14.34%, and it's up 5.49% since the 26th of August. In 2009 and 2010, Joe Ratcliffe traced the roots of the border war fought by South Africa and Angola through the 1970s and 80s. And I found this photograph which caught my attention. Jubilee Insurance repeated that their first half profit after tax rallied 23.4%. Gross earned premiums up 8.4%. Management expenses up 9.8%. What was interesting is there was a big impairment across most of the insurance companies. Net fair value gain through profit and loss. Jubilee put 124.65 million negative compared to 880.512 million positive the previous time, which is quite a good outcome. But you know, they have a lot of PE type equity on that balance sheet, carried for a long time, which they can easily move around and protect that mark-to-market number. Net profit up 24.5%, earnings per share up 22.2%, total assets up 17.6%. They've uplifted the interim dividend by 10%, and as a good example of the strength of the organisation, cash And cash equivalents at the end of the period 13.22 billion, up 14.9%. Really strong earnings, and it's interesting how minimalist the mark-to-market was, given how it troubled other peer group companies. Uchumi, job came at the right time for Julius Kipnitich, is what the Nation is saying. Uchumi has rebounded 21.42% over the last 10 trading sessions, and yesterday's profits warning that they issued didn't stop the rally. In that report, they say challenges that led to an adverse performance, challenges on the working capital, Tanzania and Uganda have continued to impact. The energy PS, Mr. Njoroge says, direct use of geothermal energy is the next big thing for our country, and I think he's right. Kenya's geothermal fields and a planned free trade zone in Mombasa provide the shortest path to the country's industrialization, according to the Industrialization Secretary Aidan Mohammed. Nairobi all-share rebounded a further 1.87% yesterday. It's up 3.62% since Friday, but still down 12.33%. NSE 20 is up 2.34% since Friday. It rallied 1.83% yesterday. Inflation slowed to 5.84% and is probably going lower. Positive sentiment spilled over from Friday, so we've had a 2-day rally now. Let's see how we can get on today. Safaricom maintained the tempo of its rebound, rallied a further 1.766% yesterday. It's up 11.672% since the 26th of August. Standard Group reported first half earnings, sharp decline, profit before tax down 89.6%, revenues down 7.1%. They'd already warned, no buyers, only sellers, no trade. Even issuing a full-year profits warning could not slow down Uchumi, which rallied 4.29% yesterday, closed at a 6-week high of 850. It's up 21.42% over the last 10 trading sessions. KCB consolidated Friday's gain of 2.33%, traded 4.809 million shares. Equity Group was strong, has rallied 10.2% Friday and Monday. Co-op bounced 3.107%. BAT was the biggest gainer yesterday, up 9.38%. And it did report a first half profit after tax acceleration of 8.25%. It's a preeminent dividend paying stock, so I think in an environment where inflation is falling, money market rate should fall and that dividend become more attractive to people. EABL up 1.85%, making that up 3.77% over 2 sessions. KenGen and KPLC were strong. KenGen rebounded 5.33%. KPLC was also buoyant, up 6.41%. Today will be key. If we fall back, we're still in a bear market. If we can push on a bit more, then I think we will look back at that Thursday night as being the closing low for the year. Thank you for stopping by.